Morning, guys. So I'm a bit more awake today. Got me a cup of tea. So, morning. I'm Louis from the Southwest UK. I'm an avid Elvis fan. We've created a channel here that is all about defending Elvis and searching for the truth, standing up to anything and anyone that says things that we think are unfair to anything Elvis, Elvis's legacy, Elvis's image. And we're here to disagree with people, guys. I'm near Bristol. I'm 57. Morning, Yvette. Is this the first time we've caught you live for a while, isn't it? How are you? All right? So I've just got up, got me a cup of tea, and I thought we'd go through the Piers Morgan. I don't know if you watched it, but we went through part of the Piers Morgan interview, and I thought we'd do I've got about half an hour before the kids attack me, and my wife's going to work in a bit, so I thought let's just quickly carry on going through it where we left off. So let's go to it. Oh, I did want to just quickly thank the newer memberships. So just quickly. So obviously, please subscribe, guys. Please hit the notification bells, and hopefully that will let you know when we go live stream. But at the moment, it's not working great because last night we did a live stream and almost nobody was notified. So YouTube isn't working properly. Yvette, what time is it where you are? What country are you in? Please remind me. Obviously, you know I'm in the UK and the time here is 7:44 a.m. Good morning, Louis. Hi, Monica. It's 11:44 p.m. in Tucson, Arizona. All right, so close to your bedtime, Monica. Hi, Darlene. What time is it where you are? So, you know, I go just every day I try and tell you about the newest members. So we have Lily Ramos, Faye Simon, Drew, Linda Cudden, Jean Newbeck, and Jane Trinor and Natividad are the latest members. Don't forget, guys, it's only 99p or $1 a month. It's nothing. It's not about the money. I don't need your money. I'm building up the membership base so we can do stuff. I've got some ideas to do with the members. So Yvette, you're in Wales. Oh, okay, you're quite close to me. You know, I'm in Weston-super-Mare, yeah? Have you been to Weston-super-Mare? So, Darlene, it's 1:45 a.m. Oh, you're way past your bedtime, Darlene. When are you going to talk about how Ginger Alden's family used Elvis? Oh, right, okay. Right, I have done videos on Ginger Alden. I have got views on Ginger Alden. I personally think Ginger Alden was too young for Elvis. I don't think they would have got married. Even the engagement sounds a bit suspect to me. And Monica, I understand that after Elvis passed, there was arguments over money. Wasn't it to do with mortgages being paid for her parents, and that she took many of his belongings? But going forward from that, I've watched many of Ginger Alden's interviews, and she always speaks so highly of Elvis, so highly, always disagreeing with all of the horrible things that were said about Elvis, about his weight, about his drug use, and about how depressed he was, and that he'd locked himself in his bedroom all the time. She says that none of that was true, that he was very upbeat, he had been losing weight, he had started to come off some of the medications, and he was excited for the future. She says that he wanted a family, he wanted to get married. What I'm trying to say is that her picture that she paints of Elvis in her interviews is a very positive picture. Now, you say about that she used Elvis for money, and I've seen Billy Smith's interviews. He didn't like her. I've also seen that she did like to go out to party, and I know that she didn't want to live at Gracelands. So you seem quite passionate about Ginger Alden. So for me to go more into detail about if she used the family, which is very possible, yeah. Money brings out the worst in most people, unfortunately. I'd have to do some more research. So generally, my view of Ginger Alden is that she's a nice lady. She's a lovely lady and always speaks highly of Elvis. And that speaks volumes to me. But like many of them, they've all written books to make money. So unfortunately, it was always, right, I knew Elvis, so now how can I make money out of his name now that he's dead? Unfortunately, that is the majority of people that knew Elvis, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yes, Vernon had to go to court, and Priscilla was with Vernon, and Ginger's family were trying to sue for the Elvis estate. I thought they were suing because they wanted her to pay the mortgage because he had promised that he would pay the parents' mortgage. I didn't know it was for the estate. Monica, you have to enlighten me more on that. I obviously I knew about. She felt money was owed to her. I knew about that. I'm in a group. I don't think he would have married her. Yes, I think he got her the ring to keep her sweet. Yeah, that's what I think of that. I think that. And David, he was very unwell. He was heavily medicated on these extremely strong medications to ease the pain and discomfort that he was suffering. And his discomfort was extreme. His pain was extreme. He had so many medical issues that, they say he was taking over 40 pills a day. So, Elvis didn't like to be alone. So he would always have someone there to be with, to read with, just to share his time with. He hated being alone. I think Ginger Alden was that. But I think she was a strong-minded lady, so she would refuse to do quite a few things. She didn't always go away with him on the tours, and she wanted to go out and live life and party. She was only 20 years old. She definitely was a spender. She loved spending. So Billy Smith did not like her. He couldn't stand her. He thought she was a pain in the ass. Yeah, and I've heard that as Monica. I've heard that as well. Yes, I know about that. I know about that. I like her. Yeah, I'm not saying she's one of my favorite ones, but she comes across to me like quite genuine. But I will say, I think she has rose-tinted glasses on when it comes to them getting married and having kids. I think. Don't know. Probably not. So I think he was so unwell at this point that I don't even think he was sure of his future. I think probably the next thing he was looking to was going on the tour, paying the bills. And don't forget, at this time, the argument is still going on with Priscilla about the divorce settlement, the second divorce settlement, and this deed of trust that was placed on Graceland. And also, we've got the Memphis Mafia have just released their book, and he's very unwell. So 1977 was a tough year for him. So I don't think Elvis knew how this was all going to pan out. If anything, he was probably quite desperate. And we know he went on holiday in March as well. And if you look at the holiday pictures, you can clearly see that he's lost weight. His arms and legs are thin. He's playing football. And so I think he was optimistic for the future. I have Ginger's book, and she's not badmouthed Elvis at all, like most of the others. She spoke lovingly of Elvis and said he was not fat. I like what I have in all the interviews as well. Yeah, I tend to agree with Rosalind. Overall, she seemed, I can tell she wants to make money from Elvis because I think every person that ever met him more or less does. But generally, I thought Ginger Alden was fair in the way she talks about Elvis. I think she was quite honest and open. So if I was going to try and badmouth any of Elvis's partners financially, it would always be Priscilla. Always. Yeah, 100%. Because don't forget, even Linda Thompson made money from Elvis' name. But she's a lovely lady. I really like Linda Thompson. I've watched her interviews. She speaks so well of him, going right back to the 80s. So, but they all have lived off Elvis. I know that as who said it? One of you just said just now. I think it was Yvette that Ginger Alden waited until her poor husband passed away before she started spilling the beans, didn't she? Kerwin denies it, Monica. Let's have a look. Yeah, Yvette, I like Linda. I like her. She's beautiful. She was stunning when he was with her. We know that she lived with him for a year. They were seeing each other for 4 years. She was the first girlfriend after the divorce. I actually thought they made a nice couple. They were together a lot, but he couldn't be faithful to her. I'm not sure. Alicia Kerwin, I'm not sure. Is Alicia Kerwin mentioned here? Because Yvette brings up Alicia Kerwin. So Monica said something. Right. I don't think she married either because he was set to leave on tour, but already had another woman waiting. So are you telling me that the woman in waiting was Alicia Kerwin? Is that right? Yvette, I think Linda was good for Elvis. I really do. And even now, when I watch the interviews that she's given over the last 20, 30 years, she's really good. She's honest. She speaks about the medication. She was always worried that he may fall asleep with food and die and choke on his food. She felt like his nurse. But she also, she'll say the bits where he had problems, that sometimes he would overeat, he would binge. But then she'll say all the nice things and how lovely he was, what a beautiful soul he was, that he was a one-off, that he was so special. So she really speaks highly of him. She's still looking great, isn't she? Even I'm not sure of her age, but she looks great. She really looks after herself. So, well, they did live off Elvis because Elvis didn't want them working either. He wanted his woman there, and he had her place. Old Southern gentleman. Well, you're probably right about that, Monica. He didn't really want them to work. Yvette Dell, how do you know that? Let's have a look. So, yeah, so Darlene. Hi, Darlene. Is that another name? Let's have a look. Sorry. All right, no, it's all right. We know Darlene, don't we? Hi, Darlene. It's 1:45 where you are, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just scanning back, make sure I haven't missed anyone. So we seem to be on the subject of girlfriends. What was the name of the girlfriend that Elvis left Linda for? The one that passed away, that died of cancer. Very beautiful lady. Someone remind me her name, please. And I think she had a career in her own right, wasn't there? Didn't she go out with, what's his name? James Caan? Wasn't she married to James Caan? Remind me her name, guys. Let's have a look. I'll find it. James Caan's wife. Because I've watched a few videos of her, and I made a few videos. Sheila Caan. Sheila. So what is Sheila's original name? Sheila. Let's have a look. What's her original name, guys? James Caan's wife. Let's have a look. Sheila Ryan. Sheila Ryan. Now, she was beautiful. She was a stunning girl. Very young. And I think she's the girl that he left Linda for. Do you agree with that, guys? I'm going to look at this name that you've just mentioned to me. Where is it? Alicia Kerwin. Yeah, Ryan, that's it. I feel sorry for her because she died very young, didn't she? Let me just type in Alicia Kerwin. I don't really know anything about Alicia Kerwin. Let's have a look. Elvis and Alicia Kerwin. All right, she did write a book. Surprise, surprise. Let's have a look. Let's see if it comes up. Let's see if there's a write-up about the book. Elvis and Alicia, a mystery solved. Alicia Kerwin, for the record. Let's have a look. Elvis is the greatest of all time. Doesn't really say about... No, it doesn't really have a review. Let's have a look. Let's put it into Google. Right, how did Elvis meet Alicia Kerwin? Here we go. So, despite Ginger Alden being the last official girlfriend of Elvis, there was in the wings 1977 Alicia Kerwin. She was also 19 to Elvis 42, and his insecurity at being really liked and trying to impress the girls showed with his over-generous spending sprees. George Klein had her lined up to replace Ginger Alden, who was not liked by the Elvis group. They missed Linda Thompson and Anne Margaret before her. I wonder why they didn't like Ginger Alden. I keep hearing that. April 1977, she attended an Elvis concert and vacated with him and bought her a car. See, look, she's quite a new thing for me. Ginger Alden had been part of the cancellation of Elvis Presley's last scheduled studio sessions, but he sang his heart on the tour dates. She was there, showing the fans and the media of the day of what a power performer he could be when not sleepwalking through the shows. Right. All right, that's all it says. There's got a picture of her in the back of the car. It's not a very good picture, mind. So I'm going to see if I can find a better picture of Alicia. Morning, Louis. Hi, Arlene. I'm not quite awake yet. I'm still a bit sleepy. I like Rosalind. I like Linda, but she did leave him. And I didn't like some of the things in her book I heard of Alicia Kerwin, but I've never seen a picture of her. George was like a pimp. He introduced many women to Elvis, and he was like a hunter. Yeah, I think the Memphis Mafia were, Eileen. So let's see if we can find out a bit more about her. YouTube. So why Elvis had a plan to take Alicia Kerwin with him to Portland. Let's see what comes up. All right.
And about Ginger Alden.
Elvis Presley, in my opinion, was not going to get married to anybody again. And that's Ginger Alden included.
The girl that Elvis was supposed to have taken
on
tour with him in August of 1977.
Right, let's
Ginger Alden.
I'm trying to pause it. Okay. So this is obviously someone's video, Elvis channel. Let me see if I can get her name up. So if I'm going to use someone's channel, I do like to say the name of their channel, just to be fair. Let's pause it. So it's Welcome to Elvis Presley World. Is that right? Welcome to Elvis Presley's World is where that's come from. Let's get the picture up of her. Right, there's the picture there, guys. Pretty girl. That's what Eileen, is it? There we are, Rosalind. Picture for you. Nice, clear picture. I mean, it wasn't going to work out with these girls being so young, was it? He's 42, 19, 20. It's just not happening, is it, guys? It's not long term, is it? And the thing is, Elvis was so smart and intelligent. He was just such a deep thinker. Hi, Colleen. 3 a.m., my God. Woo! Linda had enough being awake all night and was worried for his life. Poor girl hardly slept. Yes, I've watched so many interviews. She didn't want to be his nurse, did she, Yvette? And, you know, Eileen, what you're saying about George, it's true. He would use George and a few of the others. They would scout for girls. You know, it didn't really do Elvis any good because they all used him. A lot of them just used him and wanted money, objects, cars, jewelry. I was going to see if...
Ginger now to go.
Let's just see if there's any more pictures of Yvette here. I can't see any, no.
Watching. I hope you.
So let's go back to Google. Elfrin's girlfriend, bombshell, dropped by cousin. Right. So she did write a book, I think. Let's see if it says anything here. 2 a.m. in Tennessee. I think don't a lot of us get insomnia? I do. Mine's a weird one because I'll fall asleep, but then I wake up at 5 in the morning, like can't sleep. So despite Ginger Alden being the last official girlfriend, Elvis was there in the wings, 97. Alicia Kerwin, she was 19. Okay, we've read that bit. Let's see if we can read something different. Oh, that's funny. There's a list of girlfriends here. You've got Dixie Locke, June Juniker, Anita Wood, Elizabeth Stefaniak, Anne Margaret, Joyce Bova, Leila Ryan, Barbara Lee. It's funny. It's all, and so many more. They don't say much about Alicia. It's very. I honestly say, guys, I'd never heard of her. I agree. He needed a girlfriend that was a deep thinker. Him that loved reading and that was spiritual and religious and interested in the world, interested in more than just clothes and jewelry and looking pretty and just laughing at everything he says. He needed a smart girl. I think me personally, I mean, obviously my wife's 41, but I like someone you can talk to, sort of have a proper conversation, you know. Right, here we go. There's a bit of a Facebook thing here. Let's see if it comes up. Elvis flew to Las Vegas with Alicia Kerwin and his first cousin, Billy Smith, and his wife, Jo. Okay. But as soon as you click on it, what happens? It goes to her picture for some reason. Let's have a look. Let's see if there's any more writing. Later during the trip, they went on to Palm Springs, California, where Elvis bought Alicia a car. Okay, well, straight on that. So he bought her a car. Surprise, surprise. Alicia Kerwin was a woman Elvis briefly dated. She was 21 years old and she worked as a bank teller in Memphis. So now they're saying she was 21, which could be right. They've got her date of birth. Alicia Casilia Kerwin Cecile, born in 1956, March the 12th, died in 1991. So she died quite young, guys. That's interesting. I've learned something about someone I have no idea who they were. But only one picture. Let's see if we can get another picture. Okay, let's have a look. So I think this is a picture of her. Oh, I don't know. That looks like Ginger Alden. No, that's Ginger Alden in the back of that. Yeah, Sheila Ryan, Colleen. I've done a few videos of Sheila Ryan, but there is only one picture of. Like, did you know Elvis went to Las Vegas in 1977, right? And then it's a picture of Elvis with Alicia. On December the 12th, 1976, Elvis' last performance in Las Vegas. He went there in April 1997 with his cousin Billy and his wife, Elvis brought Alicia Kerwin with him. Kerwin was Elvis's short-term girlfriend. There's a lot of things saying it. A lot of things. So I think, I just think Elvis, I don't know, he was always looking for the next girl, wasn't he, guys? He was always like, morning, Jean. He was always looking, I can't explain it, like, he would get a crush, a hots for someone, just really like them, and throw everything into that basket. But then asking the Memphis Mafia or George Klein to find a new one. So what was he looking for? What was Elvis looking for? Especially in his 40s. Yeah. And obviously he didn't look as young as he used to look when he was in his 30s. So it was an odd match, wasn't it? Because he'd have a very young, very beautiful girl, and then he did look, when he got to his 40s, he did look older. I think in his 30s he still looked amazing, but in his 40s you could see the difference clearly. Hi Jane, morning to you. So he was always looking for that girl, the one that had everything. It does seem that way. It does seem like he was never happy with the girl that he met, and we don't. I think we know that after 40, he wasn't that sexually active, because I think the medications, the pills, affected his sex drive. So I don't think it was even about sex. Maybe it was about his ego. What do you think, guys? Definitely company. Elvis would get very lonely. He wanted company. We get that all the time. He loved reading. He would even stand up and read to these people, you know. And they didn't all like it, did they? Not everyone liked it. We know that Priscilla didn't like it. So do any of you guys have a favorite girlfriend that you think was better for Elvis? Obviously, we like Anita Wood. That could have gone all the way. I quite like June Junico, and we've seen the videos of June Junico with Elvis. I love getting the videos up of June Junico on holiday in Biloxi. I'll get it up. She was beautiful, and I've read the interviews on how she met him. She was at the front row of one of his performances. I think around 56, 57. I think she was just before Anita Wood. Let's see if we can watch it. Let's just turn down the volume, and then so let's have a look. That's her there. Let's see if we can get some color. I'll see if I can get the color picture up. So that's her when she's doing the interview, obviously much older. Let's see if we can, when they go to Biloxi. So he reaches out and pulls her towards him and says, "What are you doing later?" And they end up having a bit of a sort of a summer evening together. They go for a drive. There's a picture of her here. Let's go back. Definitely a stunning girl. A real beauty. I completely see. Beautiful eyes. I want to get the video footage when they're in Biloxi. Let's see if it shows it. Yeah, here we go. Let me just show. I know you've all seen it, guys, but while we're talking about girlfriends, he looks great, doesn't he? I was smoking his little cigaretto. And how old do you think he is there? 20, 21? And I know that he went on this trip twice. And the second time he invited his mum. It's like a fishing trip. And his mum feeds him as well. There she is. So it shows them cuddling and kissing. There she's there with the red little thing in her hair. Just beautiful. It's like a perfect day. Look in Biloxi. Oh, there's Vernon and Gladys. She's feeding him there, isn't she? She just made him a sandwich. Yeah, she speaks, Rosalind, she speaks so well of him, doesn't she? June Junico. And I think this is the guy that organised the trip. I think he was related to June, I think. And he specifically asked him if he would do another trip because he wanted to take his parents along. Is that Red West? It looks like Red West, doesn't it? There's definitely some of the Memphis Mafia there, isn't it? It was her stepfather, was it, Colleen? Look at him clapping away. We're just talking about June Junico, Monica. So I was just saying she's one of my favourites. Look at him. He's shaking his leg. The famous leg shake. And I'm a real believer that Elvis, the true Elvis, because we know at this point Elvis was very famous. He had already made a couple of films. He was already famous around the world. I think this is around 56. And I always call that Elvis the pre-fame Elvis, where fame had not affected him and changed him. We know he was famous, yeah, in 56. Massive, yeah. And the films were massive successes. Was it Love Me Tender and was Jailhouse Rock that made by then? I think could have been. And then what was the other one? There was I think he had made 3 films. I think definitely 2. Let's have a look. But I always think that Elvis, fame hadn't tainted him then. He was still the real Elvis, the original Elvis, I believe. And on this trip, you really see the original Elvis. Like even the Elvis that Anita Wood was with was the real Elvis. I know he was super famous at this point, but I don't think he had changed much. I do think later, as he got disheartened with the movies in the 60s, I do think he had changed a bit. He wasn't that innocent person that we see in this footage. Let's see if we can see a bit more of it. Yeah, that's it. A pure version of himself. Totally agree with that. Let's see what else is on here. I think that's the Elvis that we all fell in love with, even though, like with me, obviously I was older, so I saw this. To me, would have been. Let's just watch it. So I just think something changed. I think what year? Let's put a year on it. I think after the army, he comes back. He does the Frank Sinatra show. He does GI Blues, which I like. He makes a few albums with RCA Victor. I'm trying to think. Obviously, then he goes on. He does the film with Juliet Prowse. He does a couple of years later, he does the Anne Margaret film. I think it was 63, 64. I'm just trying to think when he changed. I would say, it's the first time I've asked myself this question about when did Elvis start seem different? And I have to say, I would say after he got engaged to Priscilla, there was a different Elvis. Things changed. Everything got more complicated. So obviously Lisa Marie's born. We know in 68 she was unfaithful with a dance instructor. I think that little period between 68, 69, 70 was quite a strange period for Elvis. They were sort of living this fake marriage, this charade, and they were doing all different kinds of things, seeing Muhammad Ali and Tom Jones, and you had the JC Awards, and they had a few holidays as well. And I just think I see a change in Elvis. But then we've got this shock with Mike Stone that completely rocked his world, drove him crazy. And I was reading about that I was reading on YouTube. You've got the tell-all book, an audio book, Elvis, What Happened. And I think it's in the first chapter, and they're all talking about how when Elvis found out about Mike Stone, he just went crazy. He was so angry. He was climbing up the walls, jumping on his bed, demanding that they get a hitman to finish Mike Stone off, which he didn't mean. So really, from the engagement onwards, I think he got engaged in December 66. There was a change in Elvis. We know that he had this amazing comeback in 68. But what we weren't told at the time of the comeback was that he had literally had his heart broken, but also had been completely embarrassed and humiliated as well by the two, the Steve Peck, the dance instructor affair, the Mike Stone affair, which we know went on secretly for a year. And Elvis had been shaken to his core, I think. But then he had these massive successes with the 68 comeback. And then in 69, he has another massive comeback in Vegas. So he's at the top of his game again. Finally, he's overtaken the Beatles again. He's, from being insecure about the Beatles, he's completely dwarfed them with his comeback. And the Beatles, at this point, the Beatles were all going, it was going wrong for the Beatles, wasn't it? So he was back. He was at the top of his game. And then I think part of the fix for him was to move to Linda Thompson. When he met Linda Thompson, that was his way of recovering from all the heartache. And as lovely as Linda Thompson is, he obviously, he couldn't be faithful. That's what I see. And like someone said just now, he's trying to find the right person, trying to find the right one. He's looking for something that's probably not findable. Yeah. And I really do think Elvis really had quite a tough time. 72, 73, 74, 75. It's all complex. It's all very complicated, isn't it? So we miss Elvis when he was happy. So we love it in the early years of the Vegas tours. We loved him. He was so happy and confident and full of himself and looked beautiful, dressed beautiful. Obviously in the 68 comeback, he just looked amazing, he looked fantastic, and his personality really comes across in the 68 special. But underneath all that, I would call it his resurgence as a worldwide iconic idol. There was a lot of heartache. So the kids are crying upstairs. So I'm going to sort of wrap this up in a sec, guys, because I want to go up, sort the kids out, and then I'm going to come back. Right. So yes, I agree. Pure. Yeah. He changed after the army. Thanks, Darlene. Yeah, I can hear my kid crying upstairs. So I'm going to have to go, guys. So I'm going to go and help my wife with the kids. Yeah, and I've been listening to one chapter at a time on YouTube. It's completely free. It's an audio, and I know that a lot of you guys are against that book and are upset that book ever came out. But I still want to read it or listen to it because I don't like reading. And I'm going to come back with you guys to do some kind of review on that book. But when I come back later, I'm going to do the Piers Morgan interview and we're going to review it. We started yesterday. We did about 20 minutes of it. I want to review that interview. This is the most recent one that he did with Priscilla. And I want to break it down and try and get to the truth. And I want to comment all the way through it so we can see where we feel that Priscilla is being unfair on how she's portraying Elvis and Piers Morgan, because I feel that Piers Morgan indirectly did a lot of harm to Elvis in that interview, because he constantly brings up negative things about Elvis all the way through the interview. And I only realized this yesterday, because he keeps asking questions I think are hurtful and harmful to Elvis's image. So we're going to go through that, guys. I'll probably get back on quite soon. Yeah, Rosalind, you know it's worth a fortune now. They've really got up in value. Yeah, guys, you know that I've got strong feelings about Memphis Mafia. I'm very unhappy with many of them. The things they said and did. Very unhappy. So far, the standout ones that seem good to me is Billy Smith, Charlie Hodge, and Larry Geller. They seem to be the ones that didn't rip into Elvis and just... They all made money off Elvis. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. Thanks, Monica. I won't be long. I'm going to sort out the kids and then come back. So everyone that's joined in this morning, Colleen and Yvette, and Darlene, Jane, all of you guys, Monica, just make sure I haven't missed anyone. Jean, I think Eileen, just everyone that joined in. I'll see you later, guys. You take care. All the best to you.